Welcome to Flow Tricks, it's Ken, and today we're going to learn what I would consider to be a beginner move and an intermediate move. Now, I call it a beginner move, but really it's just done really fast. Whew, so it looks a lot cooler. It's actually, once you break it down, you're gonna see it's quite simple. Okay, so the logistics of this move is essentially gonna be horizontal figure eights or two beats that go above the head and below the head, above the head and below the head. So as you can see, I create a circle above it and below it. Now, if I'm looking straight up, it's going clockwise with my right hand right now, okay? So the way it works is, we're gonna swing this big circle over our head like this, whoosh. And then the moment it clears over the top of our head and the chuck is on the right side, then we're gonna kind of dip our, do you see how I kind of take my elbow and it pulls up while my thumb goes down? So again, hands facing towards the sky. Hand is going down by taking my elbow and reaching out to flip it upside down. So here, over, and then all of a sudden my elbow flips upside down so I can get down here and create the circle. I'm making a circle upside down, so to speak. And then from there, once the chuck is facing my chest, it's gonna move itself back up. So I'm gonna basically take my arm and clear it by the top of my head and start over again. So as you can see, the motion, the elbow motion happens when you're on the bottom, and then you can clear it when you're on the top. You don't have to do a whole lot, but the moment that you clear it over to this end is the only time that it goes. So watch my arm and elbow. So it's going here, lift, and turn. So that's the first side. And see if you can get this. Do not hit your head. Make sure you go high enough. If you don't go high enough, you'll hit yourself in the face. And then you're gonna do the same thing with the other hand. Now, everything is in reverse in terms of your exit and entry points, but you may be able to figure this out just by looking at this. So if this is going clockwise, this one is also going clockwise over your head. So look up, make sure your chuck is going clockwise, and then the moment it's facing kind of this direction, you're gonna spin it under and you're gonna lift that elbow, create a revolution, and then over, under, over, under, over. If you can get one with one hand and you can get the other with the other hand, the next part is going to be combining them together. So let's kind of work on this split time motion or this chasing motion. Basically, as one hand starts to swing and it's behind your head and it's starting to clear over to the front, the other one starts to go. So first start like this. See if you can just kind of whoosh, kind of just get your hands, they're going to cross, but you're just see if you can just get them to come forward at the same time. Boom. See that? So they're not moving at the same time, obviously. This is a off timing motion. So it's clearing the head, this is going back, and then like so. Now, as you can tell, my hands are a little bit tied up, but the chucks are actually spinning. So what I need to do is basically cross my arms the other way. So my arms are crossed this way. I'm just gonna kind of spin it to cross it the other way. This kind of opens it up so I can go back again. So basically we're gonna go here, cross it through here. My arms are crossed, I'm gonna uncross them and cross them again, and then start over. It's really more subtle than that. I mean, you're not really gonna notice a huge crossing of arms when I'm going here and down, but that's kind of the motion if we extend it. The true motion of it is almost all in your wrists. So if my arms were fully extended, you would really see how like this motion works with the crossing and uncrossing. But eventually what you're gonna do is you're gonna start that way, but you're gonna slowly tighten up your circles until you can feel the motions in your thumb as opposed to your elbows and wrists. And in that case, it's gonna look like this. See how my thumb is kind of chasing it now. Thumb is chasing it. And then when we get under, it's a very, very small crossing and uncrossing. It's like that big. And then you have this motion here. Now, probably the most awkward part is gonna be the crossing and uncrossing to pull it back up. So once you get down here, just cross and uncross. Make sure your right hand's leading again. Pull it back up and down. Once you get this, pat yourself on the back. Good job. We're gonna go into the second phase now. The second phase is adding horizontal buzzsaws. So we're going in here and we're going straight into a horizontal buzzsaw. You can go both directions. I'm just gonna show you one direction to start, just because you'll realize that the other one is just the exact opposite way of doing it. So as we're doing this motion here, right? The moment our arms are crossed, it opens us up to a new move. By the time our hands are across the other way, we've lost it. So it's in between the motion. When you're at the bottom, you remember where your hands are ready to cross and uncross. This opens up for a brand new combo called, well, there's a lot of combos you can open it up, but basically that's the space that you can use to transition into other things. And this time what we're gonna do is we're gonna turn it into a horizontal buzzsaw. Now, the horizontal buzzsaw prerequisite, you probably should know the buzzsaw first. So we're gonna do this first here. I'm gonna hold this in front of my body, and I'm gonna basically spin the chuck very straight, very normal. And then I'm gonna take the other chuck and I'm gonna spin them both at the same time, lift them up and put them down at the same time. This creates kind of a circular motion. Now that in itself is not that fancy, but what we're gonna do is I'm gonna have my right hand up while my left hand's down, and then I'm gonna switch spaces. So when my left hand goes up, my right hand goes down, and watch what happens now. So we're going at the same time because they're both moving up and down at the same time, and then I start alternating, and you see what happens is they start chasing each other. Start like this and then slowly tighten it up until the point where it just moves on its own. So you're using very subtle movements with your thumb. Right now, this is a very elongated movement. This will help you just find it and then slowly, slowly, slowly bring it towards the center to the point where your hands are barely moving. This creates the buzzsaw. The buzzsaw can hit you, uppercut you really good, so make sure that your arms are locked out and very forward because you don't have a lot of space here. You have a little bit. But if you're holding it lower grip, bam, right there. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna do this horizontally. That adds a little bit extra because you have to spin it a little bit harder. Otherwise, the chuck that's going upside down is going to fall and either hit yourself in the elbow or you basically have more chances to hit yourself. So here's how it looks. We're going over, we're going under. Now as we start to cross, we're gonna give it a nice forceful, and do you notice what's happening here? My left elbow is pointing towards sky and my right elbow is facing down towards the floor. This allows us to create the space, because if we don't have space here, like between my arm and my chest, the chucks are spinning in this space right through here, whoosh, whoosh. So as long as if I keep it here, I have no space, it's gonna hit my chest. You hold it out, kind of bend the elbow up, do you see? You can even look in the mirror and be like, look at that, you know? But it's gonna be like that. So once you can create that space, then you're gonna do the same thing, except for the up and down motion. It's still up and down, but you have to kind of see it through a sideways perspective. It's up and down, but it's kind of sideways. But if I was to turn my body sideways, it looks very up and down to there. So if you need help figuring out how to feel it, it's kind of like the other one, except for you have to put a little more force in it because you have to like go up and down, but you have to do it sideways. So here's how it looks. Above, below, your hand gets ready to cross, and all of a sudden, you put a lot of force into it, boom, and you do the up and down motion to get it straight like this. Now, how do you get out of this is when the right hand crosses over. So once you pass your center line, automatically what you can do is break it through. So if you're here, the moment this chuck breaks through, basically we just flip our elbow upside down and we're back to chase. So what's really cool about this, as you can see, here is the chase. This brings us back to go over our heads. Do you see this part? This is where we were before. Both elbows are facing up. That's where you need to get to in order to bring it back over your head, like so. So as we're doing this, you're thinking, I need to get my elbow up here, and the moment I get it up here, I can bring it back over my head and go back to this. And with that, you can move with it, you can find really cool patterns, you can even like bounce it across, all the different kinds of cool stuff. But I love this move, and I hope you enjoy it too. I hope you're enjoying Technique Tuesday. If you want to see more doubles, if you like what you're seeing, please, if you're not donating on Patreon, please send us a little donation. That's how we make a living through doing this. On top of that, leave a comment, like, subscribe, share. Let's spread the word. Let's make 1 million+ ninjas. Talk to y'all soon.